Hi, this is Kate from the Traverse Area District Library, and I'm going to show you how to start your first knitting project. So in order to do that, I'd like to share my camera with you and show you that there are obviously two sides to a piece of yarn. This is called the tail, and the side with the ball is called the working yarn. So in order to start people who have never made a slip knot, we're just making a slip knot. If you know how to make a slip knot, do it your own way. But for people who have never made a slip knot, I like to have like a little shepherd's hook here with the tail, and with the tail kind of going up and over. Pick up that tail and lay it over the working yarn like this. And then you can take this loop and fold it down over your working yarn. And this part in the middle, this is the part that you want to lift up. So you just pinch it and you take both ends, your tail and your working yarn, and you just give it a little yank. Okay, I'm going to do that again. Have like a little shepherd's hook or candy cane. Take the tail, pull it over the working yarn. So you have almost like a letter P. You can put your finger on the intersection if you would like. Pull that loop over. Your tail is still over there on the left side here. And pick up that middle section. And this is how you pick it up. You just slide your needle under it, and this becomes the first stitch on your needle. If you pull these two pieces of yarn apart, it will slide up and tighten up to your needle. The important part about casting on is that you don't tighten it up like this so tight that it can't move, because if you go to knit that, you won't be able to get your other needle in there. It's terrible when it's like that. And you don't want it so loose like this that it doesn't even measure to the size of your knitting needle. Knitting needles are all different sizes on purpose because you want stitches of different sizes. So tighten it up just till it matches. So when all of our stitches are cast on, we should be able to easily slide this up and down, and we should not see a lot of extra slack in that loop. There's a little extra slack, but not a ton of extra slack. I could probably give that tiny bit more scooted in tightly. Okay, so this is the first step, but we're going to take that off, and now that you know how to make a slip knot, you're actually going to give yourself, this is called the long tail cast on, and in the long tail cast on you need a long tail. So I'm going to take a couple feet of yarn, and this is still my tail side. I just kind of balled it up so you could see that that's the tail side. And put your working yarn like your candy cane. Bring your tail side over the working side. You can hold that intersection if it makes you feel better, and bring the loop down over the working side. And now you can see the one in the middle is the one you're going to pick up. So this is your first stitch on the needle. Pull the two pieces of yarn apart until it rises up. Now, the long tail cast on looks like this. By the way, casting on is sometimes the hardest thing that people can do. And if you master this, the knitting's going to be a breeze. So you can put this, let's just take it back off the needle for a sec. And I want to show you that I want your tail side to be facing your body. If you hang this naturally on your needle, this shows that the tail side wants to be away from me, but I want it to be close to me. So if my tail is close to me, that's correct. You're going to, oh, let's snug it up again a little bit, since that is the first stitch. Now, this is the way that I'll show you. You just lay your hand under both parts of that yarn. Lay your left hand under there. And kind of grab both parts of the yarn with your bottom two or, yeah, probably like your bottom 2 or 3 fingers. Then take your thumb and your index finger and put them between the 2 pieces, just like this, and spread them apart. Then you're going to give yourself this shape, like, hey, I'm pointing at you. Okay, I'm going to show you that again. You hold it from the bottom. Oops, my tail is facing me. Hold it from the bottom, stick your index and your thumb inside those 2 parts and spread them apart. If you peek under there, you can see that you've made a little shape. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to peek under there, and then you give yourself a thumbs up. You're doing great. Thumbs up. And you have some yarn on your thumb. You also have some yarn on your finger. If you firm up those 2, thumb and finger, then you're in a perfect shape to start. Notice that I'm guarding this one. I don't want this one to pop off now that I'm finally in the right position. If it pops off, then I have to start over again. You're going to scoop up from your thumb, and it makes a little hole that your thumb is inside. That little hole that your thumb is in is important because we're going to go over here to our finger and grab the yarn like this, and we're going to pull it through the little loop that our thumb is in. We're going right through the middle of the loop. And here comes stitch number 2. If you pull your fingers out and tighten your 2 pieces like this, you'll have 2 stitches on your needle. I'm going to show you that again. So your tail is facing your body. You hold the bottom portion of your hand around both strands of yarn. Stick your thumb and index finger in between and pop them open a little bit. Give yourself a thumbs up and kind of peek under there, and you'll see 1 yarn is on your finger, 1 is on your thumb. Pick up the thumb one first. There we go. You have your thumb inside this loop. Peek through there. That's the one that's on my finger, has to get through here. So we're going to go back here and grab it and pull it through. And then tighten it. Now, if you get really adept at this, you can go faster. Pull it. Thumb, finger through, pull. Thumb, finger through, pull. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches on my needle, and I'm going to try to get 10. Thumb to the finger and through. This is using up your tail yarn and using up your working yarn. It's actually the working yarn. The one on your thumb is your tail yarn, and the one on your finger is your working yarn. And you're using them both up. So your tail is shrinking. So if I had to put 100 stitches on my needle, I would want to make sure that I allotted a very long tail before I started. Otherwise, I might get to 99 stitches on my needle and I run out of yarn and I have to start over. Believe me, it's happened. So this is called the long tail cast on, and this is your first step to getting your project done. If your stitches will move very simply up and down, and they're not floppy, and they're not too tight, then you're in good shape. So just practice the long tail cast on for this first lesson. Just practice your long tail cast on, and in the next lesson, you'll learn how to knit. Thanks.